Winning Chopped was like a aha moment for me. Not necessarily, it was just like a very internalized kind of situation. Like it just felt like, oh, okay, this is what I'm meant to be doing. Even though I've been doing it, I don't know how many, like 6 years prior, but it just felt like, oh, this makes sense. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm Kathleen O'Brien-Price. I'm 33 years old. I'm originally from California, but now live in New York City, and I'm a private chef.
I'm Chefleen, Chop champion and host of Real Life Cooking.
So I grew up in Moreno Valley, California, which is a really diverse place in California. It's like 60 miles east of LA. I had a very creative childhood. My dad is a musician, my mom was a teacher, so creative and education balanced together. I got to experiment a lot in the kitchen. I spent a lot of time outdoors. All of our family vacations were like camping and traveling, museums, things of that nature. So from a really young age, I was really allowed to be myself and explore different creative outlets. I have always had a really great relationship with food. I've always loved food. I was an athlete growing up, I was a swimmer. So I used to be able to eat and consume a lot of food, like 4 hamburgers in like 30 minutes. Right out of high school, I wanted to go to culinary school, but my mom was like, no way, like that is not a smart choice. So I ended up going to UC Berkeley, and I ended up graduating with a mass communications degree, thought I wanted to be a newscaster, realized I hated the news. A couple friends suggested, like, why don't you go to culinary school? I ended up going to Le Cordon Bleu in Hollywood, California, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I loved it. It was just like playing with food. It was like not school, it was just fun. Right when I graduated, I actually worked at this small little like studio, I think it was like Warner Brothers, like a studio cafe. I was just looking for jobs, and I found a job on Craigslist of all places, looking for a kitchen assistant for a high profile family. And that is what really solidified my career, because that was at the house of Will and Jada Smith. And everything kind of took off from there. I worked there 2.5 years, and then the rest kind of just followed. Hi, I'm Chefleen, and today I'm making a quick and easy meal that you can make when you come home from work. At the end of 2012, when all these other jobs had kind of stopped working, I was like, well, now's a chance to move to New York. So I moved to New York, and I moved with nothing. I packed all my apartment into 3 bags, lived on my best friend's couch, and just kind of had to figure it out. So I knew I wasn't really looking for restaurants when I came here. I actually got a job as a server at Red Rooster. But I moved in February. By April, I had my first private client in New York City. And that kind of solidified me on this path, like, oh, I actually can do this. I always knew I wanted to inspire people and lead people to cook in their own kitchen. So I started a blog also when I first moved to New York City. And that really helped me get my creative voice out. It was a blog about food, but also life experiences and like blending all those things together, how you can learn lessons in the kitchen, finding freedom in flaws, things of that nature. So being on Chopped just kind of came about by circumstance. I think I had applied a couple times. I applied actually when I first moved to New York. But I think when you're gonna be on TV, you have to fit into whatever producer's storylines are gonna be. So I think I fell into this storyline about, it was an Irish themed episode. I'm half Black and half Irish. And so I kind of came in as like the dark horse sort of, because no one assumed I was Irish on this Irish themed episode. It felt just really validating and really good. Just like kind of amazing. And then I don't think it hit me until a few months later. Like I was on the Food Network. Like I used to watch the Food Network, and I wanted to be on there, and now I'm on there as like a contestant that won a show that's like very popular, and I beat out like all these other amazing chefs. So Chefleen actually originated at the house of Will and Jada Smith. One of the people that worked in the office, I used to work the breakfast shift, and everyone would come in and try to get breakfast. And so he would come in, and he made up the name Chefleen. And I didn't really like embrace it back then, because again, I was very young. I didn't really know where I was going, what I was doing. So Chefleen really came in when I started building my blog and my brand. And it's interesting because I have like 2 different sides, right? I have Chefleen, who's like this media brand person, now teaching virtual classes, but then I'm also a private chef. My private clients don't call me Chefleen, they call me Chef Kathleen. So it's like Chefleen is like more of myself, whereas Chef Kathleen is like the very professional, like I'm just here to cook your food, very serious kind of person, whereas Chefleen, I get to shine in my personality more. So I think it's really important for Black women, mixed women, anyone that identifies other than just predominantly white, to be represented in every industry. And we have been severely misrepresented in a lot of industries. So it's really important that we have diversified kinds of people in every single industry. So I think that we're getting better in general in media of representing Black people in a great light, or in not even great, just different lights, like showing us in different kinds of ways. But the food industry really has a long way to go. So if you are looking to be a chef and you are a Black woman, then I would say, well, the first thing, if you're looking to be a chef, is just to cook every single day. Like if you have a chance, an opportunity, just cook, experiment, cook for other people, not just yourself. Like volunteer. I know it sucks to not be paid, but like if you're just really starting out, you might volunteer to cook for a lot of people and just see how it works. See if you even like it. Like maybe you cook for 20 people, you're like, oh, this is not for me. So just really engage and explore like your talents physically. And then mentally, you need to be very prepared for a lot of kind of roadblocks and no's, and feeling like sometimes you might be better, but you're not praised as such. So just kind of, again, centering on the inside of yourself and knowing your purpose, knowing what you want is really going to help you get through all of those times when you might feel underappreciated or overlooked. Because at the end of the day, especially now with social media, like everything's for likes. So really just reminding yourself and staying centered in yourself of what your purpose is and why you're doing it, rather than like looking externally for validation, I think is the best piece of advice I could give someone.